The rain came down in sheets that night. I gripped the thermos of hot soup so hard my knuckles went white. Clara had texted me 3 hours earlier, saying she had a last-minute surgery and wouldn't be home. I knew she hadn't eaten.
She never ate before surgery.
So I did what I had done for 7 years.
I drove through the storm to bring her something warm. I parked in the nearly empty hospital lot and jogged toward the main entrance. Water seeped into my shoes.
I didn't care.
I just wanted to see my wife. Then, I saw her. Clara stood under the overhang near the emergency exit.
Her white coat was still on.
Her hair had come loose from its usual tight bun, and her arms were wrapped around a man I had never met, but recognized instantly from old photographs tucked in her nightstand drawer.
Evan Mercer.
Her first love, the one who left for London 8 years ago, and broke her heart. She wasn't just hugging him, she was holding him the way you hold something you thought you'd lost forever. Her face was buried in his chest. His hand was stroking her hair. They looked like two people who had finally found their way back to each other. I stood in the rain like an idiot. The thermos slipped from my fingers and clattered on the wet pavement. The sound made her look up. Her eyes met mine. For a split second, I saw panic. Then it hardened into something colder.
Annoyance.
She pulled away from Evan and marched toward me. Rain plastered her hair to her forehead. "Josh, what are you doing here?" Clara said. Her tone was clipped.
Clinical.
The same voice she used with difficult patience. "I brought you soup," I said. My voice came out flat. "You said you hadn't eaten."
She glanced at the fallen thermos.
Didn't pick it up?
Evan's father had a cardiac event. He was rushed here 2 hours ago. I performed the emergency procedure. Hez stable now, but you showing up like this is a distraction I don't need.
I blinked.
I didn't know.
You didn't tell me.
I didn't have time to brief you on my patient list, Clara said.
Her eyes flicked back to Evan, who stood by the door watching us with a faint smirk. "Go home, Josh. It'll be late."
We can talk tomorrow.
She turned and walked back to him. She put her hand on his arm and guided him inside. She didn't look back. I picked up the thermos. The lid had cracked. Soup leaked out and mixed with rainwater. I stood there for a long time before I walked back to my car.
7 years.
7 years of packing her lunches, picking up her dry cleaning, sitting alone at dinner tables, and pretending I didn't notice the way she flinched when I touched her. 7 years of telling myself she just needed time. That love could grow if I watered it enough. The drive home was silent. Our house was dark. I sat in the living room without turning on the lights. My phone buzzed.
A text from Clara.
"Evan is staying at the hospital tonight. I'm staying too. Don't wait up."
Don't wait up.
Shed said that 1,000 times.
Tonight, it hit different.
I didn't sleep.
Around 3 in the morning, I went into her study. I didn't know what I was looking for.
Maybe I just wanted to understand.
Her desk was neat, everything in its place. Then I opened the bottom drawer. There was a box. Inside were letters, dozens of them,
All from Evan.
postmarked over the last 2 years. I pulled one out at random and read it.
Clara, I miss you.
"I made a mistake leaving. You married him, but I know your heart is still mine. Tell me it's still mine." My hands trembled. I put the letter back. I closed the drawer. I went to the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water. My reflection in the window looked like a ghost.
7 years.
And I had been nothing but a placeholder. The next morning, I was sitting at the breakfast counter when my phone vibrated. A text from Clara, but the preview showed something odd. "Honestly, Leah, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Josh is sweet, but Hez not Evan. He never was. Every time I look at him, I see the life I settled for. And the money makes it harder to leave, but I'm suffocating."
I stared at the screen.
My thumb hovered over the message. Then it vanished.
To delete it.
She had sent it to the wrong person and retracted it. But I had seen enough. The money makes it harder to leave. I set the phone down. My jaw was tight. My chest felt like someone had poured concrete into it.
Let me tell you about the money.
My family built Callaway Industries from the ground up.
My grandfather started it.
My father expanded it. I inherited it at 26 and tripled its value in 5 years. When I married Clara, she was a surgical resident drowning in student loans. I paid them off without blinking. When the hospital needed new equipment, I wrote a check. When they wanted to expand the cardiac wing, I pledged $300 million. $300 million. And I was the one she couldn't look at. I spent the day at my office.
I didn't call her.
She didn't call me. Around noon, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a notification from my bank. A large transfer from our joint account. The recipient was listed as E. Mercer Properties. She was giving him money.
I laughed.
It wasn't a happy sound. My assistant, a sharp young woman named Tessa, poked her head into my office.
Mr.
"Callaway, are you all right?" Tessa said.
Never better, I said.
Can you pull the financials on the hospital donation? Every contract. Every clause.
Tessa nodded. Right away. She returned 20 minutes later with a thick folder. I flipped through it. The donation agreement was ironclad, but it had a clause I had insisted on when we drafted it. A personal conduct clause. If the recipient institution or its representatives engaged in actions that brought reputational harm to the Calloway family, the donation could be revoked. I had put that clause in as a formality.
I never thought I'd use it.
My phone rang.
It was Clara.
Josh, about this morning, Clara said. Her voice was cautious. That message was private. You shouldn't have read it. It was sent to my phone, I said.
It was a mistake.
I'm sure it was. I leaned back in my chair. Who's Leah?
A pause.
My college roommate.
It doesn't matter.
It matters to me, she sighed.
Josh, we can talk about this later.
I have rounds.
Of course. Go save lives. She hung up. I looked at the financial folder. Then I looked at the photo on my desk.
Our wedding picture.
She was beautiful that day. But even then, even in that white dress, her smile hadn't reached her eyes.
I hadn't noticed.
Or I hadn't wanted to notice. Tessa buzzed my intercom.
Mr.
Calloway, your mother-in-law is online too. I picked up. Miranda.
Joshua.
My mother-in-law's voice was brisk.
I need you to sign off on the catering deposit for the anniversary dinner.
The hotel is being difficult.
The anniversary dinner.
Right. I had planned a massive celebration for our 7th anniversary. 200 guests.
5-star hotel. A live orchestra.
It was supposed to be a surprise for Clara. I had dropped a small fortune on it.
I'll handle it, I said.
See that you do?
This dinner is important.
Clara needs to see how much you value her. Miranda hung up. Value her? I had given her everything.
My name.
My fortune. My pride.
And she had given me a drawer full of letters from another man and a text message calling me a suffocating settlement.
I buzzed Tessa.
Cancel the anniversary dinner.
Sir.
Cancel all of it.
Every vendor.
Every deposit.
Let the hotel know I'll pay the penalty. Yes, Mr.
Calloway. I stood and walked to the window. The city sprawled beneath me. I had built an empire, and I couldn't even keep my own wife's attention. That was about to change.
The day of our anniversary arrived.
I hadn't told Clara I canceled the dinner. She hadn't asked. She probably didn't remember what day it was. I woke up that morning to an empty bed. She had left early for the hospital. There was no note on the nightstand. No text on my phone.
Just silence.
I got dressed and drove to the hotel anyway. The ballroom was dark and empty. No flowers.
No orchestra. No guests.
Just me standing in a vast room with a check in my pocket for a catering penalty. The hotel manager approached me nervously. Mr. Calloway, I'm so sorry for the confusion.
We've processed the cancellation as requested.
Is there anything else we can do? No, I said.
Thank you.
I walked out.
My phone buzzed. A notification from social media. A friend had posted photos from a party last night. I opened it. And there she was. Clara stood next to Evan at a rooftop bar. His arm was slung casually around her shoulders. She was holding a glass of champagne, laughing at something he said. A banner in the background read, "Happy birthday, Evan." It was his birthday. She had missed our anniversary dinner for his birthday party. I hadn't even told her the dinner was canceled. She hadn't even remembered. She had just gone to him. I got in my car and drove to the hospital. Not to confront her, I just wanted to see it with my own eyes.
The cardiac wing expansion site.
The one my donation was funding. The construction site was quiet. It was a Sunday. I walked through the skeleton of steel beams and concrete foundations. A sign at the entrance read Calloway Cardiac Wing. Opening next year. Funded by the generous donation of Joshua Calloway. I stood there for a long time. Then I pulled out my phone and dialed a number in Switzerland. Calloway Private Banking. How may I assist you? This is Joshua Calloway.
I need to speak with my account manager.
It's urgent.
One moment, please, Mr.
Calloway.
A minute passed. Then my banker's voice came on the line.
Mr.
Calloway.
It's been a while.
What can I do for you?
I need a full review of all pending donations, pledges, and scheduled transfers from the family accounts. Every single one connected to St.
Mercy Hospital.
Of course.
May I ask if there's a particular concern?
Am considering a complete withdrawal of funding. A pause.
All 300 million?
Every cent. He cleared his throat.
Understood.
I'll prepare the documents immediately. This will take a few days to execute cleanly.
Take your time.
I'm in no rush.
I hung up.
The hospital loomed in front of me. Somewhere inside, my wife was probably sneaking texts to the man she actually loved. And I was done being the fool who paid for it all. I drove home. Clara's car was in the driveway. She was home early. I walked inside. She was sitting on the couch, still in her scrubs, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when I entered.
Hey, Clara said.
Where were you?
Out, I said.
Okay.
She went back to her phone. I stood there watching her. This was the woman I had spent 7 years trying to love enough for both of us. This was the woman I had rearranged my entire life to support, and she couldn't even look at me for more than 3 seconds.
Clara.
Did you forget what today is?
She frowned at her phone, checked the date. Her face went slack.
Josh.
Oh my God.
The dinner?
There is no dinner, I said.
I canceled it.
What?
Why?
Because I realized something, I said. No matter how much money I spend, no matter how many dinners I plan, you will never choose me. You haven't chosen me in 7 years. I'm done trying to earn something that was never on the table. Her mouth opened, then closed.
She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time.
Josh, that's not fair.
Isn't it?
I pulled out my phone and showed her the photo from the rooftop party. You spent our anniversary at his birthday party.
You didn't even text me.
Her face flushed. Evan is going through a hard time. His father's surgery, the recovery.
He needed support. And I didn't?
She had no answer for that. I didn't wait for one. I walked upstairs, packed a bag, and left. She didn't follow me. I spent the night at the penthouse downtown. I had bought it 3 years ago as an investment property. Clara had never even seen it.
That said everything about our marriage.
In the morning, I called a meeting with my legal team. 5 lawyers sat around a conference table, all of them looking nervous. I didn't blame them. When the boss calls an emergency legal meeting, it's never good news. I want every donation to St. Mercy Hospital frozen effective immediately, I said. The cardiac wing funding,
The equipment grants.
the research endowments. All of it.
My lead attorney, a silver-haired woman named Diane, nodded slowly.
The personal conduct clause gives us grounds.
But we'll need documentation of the breach.
Something concrete.
I slid a folder across the table. Inside were screenshots of Clara's text message, photos of her with Evan, and a detailed timeline of the funds she had transferred to his accounts from our joint holdings. Diane flipped through it. Her expression didn't change. She was too professional for that, but her eyes widened just slightly. This is sufficient, Diane said. I'll draft the revocation notice. The hospital will have 30 days to respond. Make it 7, I said. That's aggressive. I'm feeling aggressive. The meeting lasted 2 hours. By the time I walked out, the wheels were in motion. $300 million was about to vanish from St. Mercy's future. The cardiac wing would stop construction.
The research programs would lose funding.
Dozens of staff would be affected. I didn't feel good about that part.
But I also didn't feel bad enough to stop.
My phone rang. It was my mother. She had heard the news.
News traveled fast in our circles.
Joshua, I'm hearing rumors about the hospital donation, my mother said.
Is it true?
It's true. About time, she said.
I never liked that woman.
She never appreciated you.
She's my wife, Mom.
And you're my son.
I've watched you twist yourself into knots for 7 years trying to make her happy. It was never going to work. Some people just don't have the capacity to love you back. I leaned against my car. I know that now.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to let her feel what it's like to lose something she took for granted. My mother was quiet for a moment. Be careful, Josh. Revenge feels good in the moment, but it doesn't heal anything.
This isn't revenge, I said.
This is me finally standing up. I hung up and drove to the office. The city passed by in a blur of glass and steel. Every building I passed reminded me of a deal I had closed, a competitor I had beaten, a problem I had solved. I was good at fixing things, but I couldn't fix a marriage that was never real. Tessa met me at the elevator.
Mr. Calloway, you have a visitor.
It's Dr. Calloway's mother. Miranda was waiting in my office.
She was pacing.
Her heels clicked against the marble floor like angry little hammers.
Joshua, Miranda said.
Explain this to me.
Explain what?
The hospital board just received a notice that the Calloway donation is under review. They're panicking.
The entire expansion is at risk.
That's correct, I said.
I'm revoking the donation. Miranda's face went pale, then red. You can't do that.
That money is essential.
Essential to whom?
The hospital?
Or Clara's career?
Both.
Miranda stepped closer. Her perfume was suffocating. You made a commitment.
You can't just pull out because you're having marital problems.
Marital problems, I repeated.
Is that what she told you?
That we're having marital problems?
She told me you've been distant. Unreasonable. She said you've been jealous of an old friend.
I laughed.
I couldn't help it.
An old friend?
Miranda, your daughter has been in an emotional affair with Evan Mercer for at least 2 years.
Possibly longer?
She sent him money from our accounts. She spent our anniversary at his birthday party. And she sent a text to her friend saying she feels suffocated by me and only stays for the money. Miranda's expression flickered, just for a moment, then it hardened again.
That's a lie, Miranda said.
It's in writing.
I have screenshots.
She was silent, her mouth pressed into a thin line. Then she did something I didn't expect. She changed tactics. Even if it's true, punishing the hospital is wrong.
Innocent people will suffer.
Patience.
Staff.
You're a businessman, Joshua.
You understand that leverage shouldn't hurt bystanders.
I understand that leverage is the only language some people speak, I said. Your daughter included. Miranda's eyes narrowed. You'll regret this.
I already regret a lot of things.
This isn't one of them.
She stormed out. The door slammed behind her. I sat down at my desk and stared at the city skyline. My hands were steady. My heart was calm.
I had finally done something.
After 7 years of passivity, I had finally done something. The phone on my desk rang. The caller ID said St.
Mercy Hospital Administration.
I let it ring.
By the next morning, the news had spread. The Callaway donation was frozen. The hospital was in crisis mode. My phone had been ringing nonstop since 6 a.m.
I had ignored every call.
Then the director of St. Mercy showed up at my office. In person.
Doctor.
Wallace Granger was a distinguished man in his 60s. Gray hair, kind eyes. He had always treated me with respect. Even when Clara didn't, I felt a pang of guilt when Tessa showed him into my office. Joshua, doctor, Granger said.
Thank you for seeing me.
I almost didn't, I admitted.
But you've always been decent to me.
Sit down.
He sat. He looked tired. The kind of tired that comes from more than one sleepless night.
I won't waste your time with pleasantries, doctor.
Granger said.
The cardiac wing is 90% complete. If the funding disappears, construction stops.
We have contractors to pay.
Equipment on order. Staff hired specifically for that unit. The fallout will be catastrophic.
I know.
Do you also know that your wife is the lead surgeon for that wing?
It's her program. Her reputation is tied to it.
I know that too. Doctor.
Granger leaned forward. Then you know this will destroy her career. I met his eyes. She destroyed our marriage. I'm just letting her feel the consequences.
Is there nothing I can say to change your mind?
I thought about it. The donation was made in good faith, but the conduct clause was violated.
Doctor.
Callaway used hospital resources to treat Evan Mercer's father as a priority patient, bypassing standard protocol. She transferred joint marital funds to Mercer's accounts. She engaged in conduct that frankly makes me look like a fool for funding this institution.
Doctor.
Granger sighed.
I can't defend her actions. I can only ask you to separate the institution from the individual. The hospital isn't Clara.
No.
But Clara is the hospital's face on this project. And I can't separate the two when my own wife has spent years treating me like an ATM. The director was silent for a long moment. Then he stood. I understand, he said.
I don't agree.
But I understand. I'll manage the fallout as best I can. He walked to the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I always thought you deserved better. Then he was gone. I sat in the silence for maybe 10 minutes before the next storm hit. My door burst open. Miranda stormed in, and this time Tessa couldn't stop her.
You selfish, ungrateful monster, Miranda shouted.
She was holding a coffee mug. One of the expensive ones from my office kitchen. She threw it at the wall. It shattered.
I didn't flinch.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Doctor.
Granger just called me. He said you're unmovable. That you're going to let the entire project collapse.
Do you have any idea what this will do to Clara?
She should have thought about that before she spent our anniversary with her ex-boyfriend. Miranda's face twisted.
You think you're so righteous?
You think money gives you the right to play God.
But you're nothing without that checkbook?
Nothing.
Clara is a brilliant surgeon.
She saves lives.
What do you do?
You sit in your tower and push paper. I stood up slowly. I built a company that employs 12,000 people. I fund medical research that saves more lives than your daughter ever will. And I did it all while coming home to a woman who couldn't even look me in the eye. So don't stand there and tell me, I'm nothing. Miranda stepped back. Something in my voice must have cut through her fury.
Get out, I said.
And don't come back.
She left.
The shattered coffee mug was the only sign she had been there.
I called Tessa.
Can you have maintenance clean up the mess in my office?
Already on it, Mr. Callaway.
And Tessa?
Block all calls from Miranda Callaway. Permanently.
Yes, sir.
I sat back down. My hands were still steady, but something was shifting inside me.
Not guilt.
Not yet.
But something. The day wore on.
More calls came. Emails piled up. The hospital board sent a formal letter requesting a meeting. I ignored it. The contractors sent an urgent notice about penalties for stopping work. I forwarded it to legal. Around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed with a number I almost didn't recognize.
Clara.
She was calling me directly. Not texting.
Calling.
I let it ring.
It stopped, then started again. She called 5 times before I finally answered.
Josh. Her voice was shaky.
Not the controlled surgeon voice, the real one.
We need to talk.
I'm listening. Not over the phone. In person. Please. The word please from Clara Calloway was so rare, I almost laughed.
Fine, I said.
My office.
Tomorrow at 10. I'll be there. She hung up. I stared at my phone. Tomorrow was going to be interesting. At exactly 10 o'clock the next morning, Tessa announced Clara's arrival. I had been at my desk since 6. It had 4 hours of sleep and 3 cups of coffee. I was ready. Send her, I said. Clara walked through the door, and for a moment I almost didn't recognize her. She wasn't wearing her white coat. She was in civilian clothes, a simple blouse and dark pants.
No makeup.
Her hair was pulled back loosely, and her eyes were red. She had been crying. Clara Calloway, the woman who never cried, had been crying. Josh, Clara said. Her voice was hoarse.
Thank you for seeing me.
Sit down. She sat. She looked small in the leather chair across from my desk. I had never seen her look small before. I know you're angry, Clara said. You have every right to be.
But what you're doing to the hospital, it's not fair.
The cardiac wing is my life's work. It's going to save thousands of people. It was my money that was going to save thousands of people, I said.
Money I gave freely.
Money you took for granted.
I know.
And I'm sorry.
Sorry.
The word hung in the air between us. I waited for it to mean something.
It didn't.
You're sorry because the money is gone, I said. Not because of what you did.
That's not true.
Clara. I leaned forward. I saw the letters. I read the text you sent to your friend. I know you've been in love with Evan this entire time. Don't insult me by pretending this is about the hospital. Her face crumpled. It's complicated, uncomplicated for me.
She took a shaky breath.
Evan and I have history. Before I met you, I thought he was the love of my life. When he left, I thought it'd never recover. Then you came along and you were so kind, so generous. I thought I could learn to love you. I tried.
I really tried.
But you didn't.
Her silence was the answer. When Evan came back, Clara said, I didn't plan for anything to happen. But seeing him again brought everything back. I know it's not fair to you. I know I've been awful. But the hospital, the patients, please don't punish them for my mistakes. I leaned back in my chair.
This was the moment.
The moment I had been building toward for days. The apology.
The plea.
The desperate request for mercy. I had imagined it, and now it was here, and I felt nothing.
The donation is revoked, I said.
The decision is final. Her face went white. Josh, please. I'm begging you. Begging.
I tasted the word.
You never begged for anything in your life.
Not from me.
Not from anyone.
And now you're begging for money.
I'm begging for my patience.
You're begging for your reputation.
I stood up.
Let's be honest.
The cardiac wing is your legacy.
If it collapses, your name is attached to a failure.
That's what you're afraid of?
She stood too. Her hands were trembling.
Yes.
Fine.
I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of losing everything I've worked for.
Is that what you want to hear?
It's a start.
Then what do you want, Josh? What will it take for you to restore the funding? I walked to the window. The city was gray under a low sky. Somewhere out there, construction workers were packing up their equipment at the hospital site.
I don't know yet.
I said,
Maybe nothing.
maybe this is just the end. The end of what?
Our marriage?
The donation. All of it. She stepped closer. I heard her breath catch.
You're talking about divorce?
I'm talking about waking up to the reality that I've spent 7 years loving a woman who sees me as a financial safety net. So yes, divorce is on the table. She didn't say anything for a long time. When she spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. I never meant to hurt you. No one ever does, I said. But they do it anyway. She left without another word. The door clicked shut behind her. I stood at the window for a long time, watching the city move beneath me.
Cars. People.
Lives going on as if mine hadn't just fallen apart. Tessa came in with a stack of documents. Mr. Calloway, the legal team sent over the divorce paperwork for your review. Leave it on the desk. She did. She hesitated at the door.
Are you okay?
No, I said.
But I will be.
She nodded and left. I looked at the divorce papers. They were thick, detailed. My lawyers had been thorough.
All I had to do was sign.
But I didn't sign. Not yet. I wasn't done. There was one more thing I needed to do. I needed to find out everything about Evan Mercer.
I spent the next 3 days digging,
My resources were extensive. Private investigators, financial analysts,
Legal researchers.
they all worked fast. What they found was worse than I expected.
Evan Mercer wasn't a successful entrepreneur.
He was a fraud. His property company was a shell. His London business had collapsed 2 years ago. He had debts.
Massive ones.
The kind that make people disappear.
And he had come back not for Clara, but for her access to my money. I laid the documents out on my dining table like a prosecutor preparing for trial. Bank statements,
Bankruptcy filings.
emails between Evan and a loan shark who was getting impatient. It was all there in black and white. Then I called Clara.
I want to have dinner, I said.
All three of us.
You, me, and Evan.
A long pause.
Why? Because if we're going to end this, I want to look him in the eye. Another pause.
Fine.
Tomorrow night.
Where?
My penthouse. 7 o'clock. I hung up before she could object. The next evening, I set the table myself. 3 places. Expensive china.
Crystal glasses.
A bottle of wine that cost more than most people's monthly rent. I wanted the setting to be perfect.
Clara arrived first.
She was nervous. I could see it in the way she kept touching her hair. Evan arrived 5 minutes later, walking into my home like he owned it. He was tall and handsome in a polished way. Good suit. Confident smile. But his eyes were too quick, too watchful. A predator's eyes. Josh, Evan said, extending his hand.
Good to finally meet properly.
I shook his hand. His grip was firm. Practiced. Evan.
Thanks for coming.
We sat. I poured the wine. Small talk floated around the table. The weather.
The city.
Clara barely touched her glass. Evan drank deeply. So, Evan said, leaning back in his chair. I understand there's some tension about the hospital funding.
There is, I said.
Clarice asked me to reconsider.
And will you?
I took a sip of wine.
That depends.
Tell me about your business, Evan.
Mercer Properties, right?
How's that going?
His smile flickered, just for a fraction of a second.
It's going well.
Expanding into new markets.
Interesting.
I reached under the table and pulled out a folder. Because my team did some research.
Your company filed for bankruptcy in London 18 months ago?
Your primary investor pulled out after discovering fraudulent accounting.
And you currently owe approximately $2.3 million to various creditors, including a gentleman named Victor Sabo, who, according to my sources, is not known for his patience.
The silence at the table was absolute.
Clara turned to stare at Evan. Evan, what is he talking about? Clara said. Evan's face had gone pale. That's confidential business information.
How did you? I'm one of the wealthiest men in the country, I said.
I can find out anything.
Did you think I wouldn't look?
Clara stood up.
Evan.
Answer the question.
Are you bankrupt?
It's temporary, Evan said. His voice had lost its smoothness. A cash flow problem. Once I secure new investment, I said. You mean my wife? You came back because you knew she had access to my money. The money you told her you needed for your father's medical bills. But your father's surgery was covered by insurance. I checked. Evan's jaw tightened.
That's not true.
I threw another document on the table. Hospital billing records. His father's insurance had paid 90%. The remaining 10% was a few $1,000s.
Not the hundreds of thousands he had taken from Clara.
Clara picked up the paper. Her hands were shaking. You told me your father was dying.
You said you needed help?
I do need help, Evan said.
Just not the kind you think?
Get out, Clara said.
Her voice was ice. Clara, come on. Get out of my husband's house. Evan stood. He looked at me with pure hatred.
You think you've won?
She never loved you.
She never will. You're just the guy with the checkbook.
I know, I said.
But I'm also the guy who just exposed you.
So who really lost here?
He left. The door slammed behind him. Clara stood frozen. Her face was a mask of shock and humiliation. She turned to me slowly. You knew, Clara said. You knew and you set this up.
I needed you to see him clearly, I said.
Without the history.
Without the nostalgia, just the truth. She sank into her chair. Her composure cracked. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Real tears. Not the controlled ones from my office.
I'm so stupid, she whispered.
7 years. I threw away 7 years for a con man. I didn't comfort her. I just sat there and watched her cry. Because as much as I had wanted this moment, it didn't feel like victory. It just felt sad. The night of the dinner, Clara didn't leave right away. She sat on my couch staring at the wall.
I let her sit.
I didn't offer comfort.
I didn't offer wine.
I just let the silence do its work. Around midnight, she finally spoke. I need to fix this, Clara said. Whatever it takes. Tell me what to do. I walked over to my briefcase and pulled out the divorce papers.
The stack was thick.
My lawyers had been thorough. Every asset was accounted for. Every joint holding was divided. I had been more than fair. She would walk away with enough to live comfortably.
Not that she deserved it.
I set the papers on the coffee table in front of her. There is nothing to fix, I said.
This is the end of the road.
She stared at the document. Her eyes moved over the title page. Petition for dissolution of marriage.
No, Clara said.
No, I'm not signing this. You don't have to sign tonight.
But you will sign eventually.
She picked up the papers and ripped them in half. The sound was sharp and satisfying. She threw the pieces on the floor. I said no, Clara said. I made mistakes. Huge mistakes.
I know that now.
But I'm not going to just give up.
Give up?
I almost laughed. Clara, you gave up on this marriage the day it started. You've been in love with another man the entire time. What exactly are you fighting for now? She stood up. Her eyes were wild. Desperate. I'm fighting for us.
There is no us.
There never was.
That's not true.
Isn't it?
I pointed at the torn papers.
Read the text you sent your friend.
The one where you said you were suffocating. The one where you said you were only staying for the money. Tell me that wasn't true.
She opened her mouth, closed it.
The silence was her answer. That's what I thought, I said. I walked to the door and held it open. You can go.
I'll have my lawyers send you another copy.
She didn't move. She just stood there, looking at the torn papers on the floor. Then she did something I had never seen her do. She bent down and started picking up the pieces. One by one.
Like she was trying to put them back together.
Josh, Clara said, her voice cracking.
Please,
Give me one chance.
One real chance.
I'll do anything.
Anything? Anything. I looked at her. She was on her knees on my floor, holding pieces of the divorce papers in her shaking hands. The woman who had never begged for anything was begging now. But not for the hospital. Not for her career.
For me?
And I felt nothing. I used to dream about this moment, I said. You. Finally seeing me.
Finally caring.
I thought if I just loved you enough, if I just gave you enough, you'd wake up one day and love me back.
But you didn't.
And now it's too late.
why is it too late?
Her voice broke. I'm right here. I'm choosing you.
Right now.
Because I don't believe you, I said. And I don't want to live the rest of my life waiting for the other shoe to drop. She clutched the paper pieces to her chest.
So that's it?
7 years and it just ends like this?
It ended a long time ago, I said.
We're just finally saying it out loud.
She left at 2 in the morning.
I watched her car pull away from the curb. The taillights disappeared into the dark.
I closed the door and leaned against it.
I didn't cry.
I didn't break anything. I just stood there in my empty penthouse, listening to the hum of the city outside. Then I called my lawyer. Diane, I said, prepare another set of divorce papers.
I'll be filing in the morning.
Understood, Diane said.
Is there anything else?
No, I said.
That's all. I hung up. The night stretched on. I didn't sleep, but for the first time in 7 years, the weight on my chest felt a little lighter. 3 days passed. The divorce papers were delivered to Clara's lawyer. The hospital was scrambling to find alternative funding. The media had caught wind of the story, and headlines were circulating about the collapse of the Callaway donation. I ignored all of it. I went to work.
I came home.
I existed.
That was enough. Then the storm came.
Not the emotional kind.
A real storm.
The kind of rain that floods streets and cancels flights. It hit the city hard on a Thursday evening. I was working late at the office when my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Josh, it's Clara. I'm outside your building. Please come down.
I need to see you.
I deleted it.
She texted again.
Please, just 5 minutes.
Then I'll leave you alone forever, if that's what you want. I stared at the screen.
Forever was a long time.
I grabbed my coat and went downstairs. She was standing on the sidewalk in the pouring rain.
No umbrella.
No coat.
Just her scrubs, soaked through.
Her hair was plastered to her face. She looked like she had walked through the storm to get here.
What are you doing?
I said, raising my voice over the rain. I had to see you, Clara said. Her teeth were chattering. The lawyers sent the final papers.
You're really going through with it.
Yes.
She stepped closer. Rain dripped from her chin. I've been thinking. About everything. About the 7 years I wasted. About the way I treated you. And I realized something.
What?
That I don't know how to be loved.
I've been so focused on what I lost with Evan that I couldn't see what I had with you. You were steady.
You were kind?
You were there for me every single day, and I took it all for granted. I didn't say anything. The rain soaked through my coat. I barely felt it. I was wrong, Clara said. Her voice broke. I was so wrong, Josh.
About everything.
About Evan. About you. About us. And I know I don't deserve a second chance.
But I had to tell you,
I had to say it out loud. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around my waist. She pressed her face into my chest and held on like I was the only solid thing in a world that was falling apart. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. Please, I'll do anything.
I'll quit the hospital.
I'll move. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Just please don't leave me. I stood there with my arms at my sides. Her body was shaking.
The rain kept falling.
It was the most emotion she had ever shown me in 7 years. Slowly, I reached up and pulled my coat off. I draped it over her shoulders. She looked up at me, hope flickering in her eyes. Clara, I said.
You hurt me.
For 7 years, you made me feel like I wasn't enough. Like no matter what I did, I would always come second to a ghost. Do you understand what that does to a person? She nodded, tears mixing with rain. I do understand, she said.
Now I do.
I've been a needle in my own heart for so long that I've gone numb, I said.
I don't feel pain anymore.
I don't feel love either.
I just feel tired.
Let me help you feel again, Clara said.
Please.
Let me try. I looked down at her. She was beautiful, even soaked and desperate. She had always been beautiful. But beauty wasn't enough. It had never been enough. I need time, I said. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. I don't know if I even want to try. But I once slammed the door completely.
Not tonight.
She let out a shaky breath. That's more than I deserve.
Yes, I said.
It is. I walked her to a waiting cab. She got in, still wrapped in my coat. The door closed. The cab pulled away.
I stood in the rain until she was gone.
Then I went back upstairs. My clothes were soaked. My shoes squelched on the marble floor. Tessa had gone home hours ago. The office was dark and silent. I sat at my desk and looked out at the storm. The needle in my heart was still there. But maybe, just maybe, it had shifted a little.
6 months passed.
The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday morning. It was quiet, civilized. We signed the papers in separate rooms.
I didn't see her face.
The hospital cardiac wing found new funding. A consortium of donors stepped in after the media coverage died down.
Doctor.
Granger sent me a letter thanking me for my initial support and wishing me well. I didn't respond. I moved into a new place. Not the penthouse.
That felt too cold.
Instead, I bought a brownstone in a quiet neighborhood. It had a garden.
A library.
Room for a cat. I adopted the cat 3 days after moving in. A gray tabby with green eyes and an attitude. I named him Sterling. He slept on my pillow and knocked things off my shelves. He was the best decision I had made in years.
My mother came to visit?
She looked around the brownstone with approval. This is a home, my mother said.
Not a showpiece.
I like it.
Thank you.
She sat on my couch and let Sterling climb into her lap.
Have you heard from Clara?
Not directly, I said.
I heard she resigned as department head.
Stepped back from the cardiac wing project. She's doing general surgery now.
Do you think she's changed?
I shrugged. I don't know.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It matters if you still think about her.
I didn't answer that. Because I did think about her.
Not with longing.
Not with anger. Just with a quiet sort of curiosity.
Wondering where she was.
What she was doing. If she was okay. The first time I saw her was on a Thursday. I was walking home from a coffee shop when I noticed a figure across the street. She was standing under a tree, looking up at my brownstone. Her hair was shorter. She wore a simple dress.
No white coat.
It was Clara.
She didn't see me.
She just stood there, staring at my windows. After a few minutes, she turned and walked away. I didn't call out to her. She came back the next week.
Same spot.
Same time. This time I watched her from inside. She stood there for maybe 10 minutes, then left.
It became a pattern.
Every few days she would appear on the sidewalk across the street. She never approached the door. She never tried to contact me. She just stood there and looked up. One evening, I was sitting on my front steps with Sterling when she appeared. She froze when she saw me. Her face went through a dozen emotions. Surprise. Embarrassment.
Longing?
Hi, Clara said. Her voice was small. Hi, I said.
Your cat is cute.
His name is Sterling. She smiled a little.
That suits him.
An awkward silence stretched between us. Cars passed.
A dog barked somewhere in the distance.
I heard you left the cardiac wing, I said.
I did.
It didn't feel right to lead a project that was built on your generosity. Not after everything.
That was your dream.
I had other dreams, she said.
I just forgot about them for a while. I nodded. Sterling purred in my lap. I'm not going to invite you, I said. Not tonight.
Maybe not ever.
I know, Clara said.
I'm not asking you to.
Then why do you keep coming here?
She looked at the ground, then back up at me. Because it's the closest I can get to you. And that's enough. For now. She turned and walked away. I watched her go.
She didn't look back this time.
That night, I lay in bed with Sterling curled at my feet. I thought about the 7 years I had spent trying to earn her love.
I thought about the $300 million.
I thought about the rain and the tears and the divorce papers scattered on the floor. And I thought about the woman who kept showing up on my sidewalk, asking for nothing, just wanting to be near.
I didn't know what the future held.
Maybe I would let her back in someday.
Maybe I wouldn't, but for the first time in my life, I was the one in control of my own heart, and that felt like the biggest victory of all.